Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, the place where leadership meets real life. Here is where we talk about leading with intention, living with clarity, and getting better results for the people we serve every single day. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. Let's go. Right now on today's episode, I hope you have a crappy Monday. All right, no, not exactly, but let me explain why. Hi, I'm your host, Andy Zook. I call this the Leading Life Podcast. So this podcast is all about how we lead our own lives, make intentional choices, and build the most fulfilling life possible. Each episode is designed to give you real-world tools to help you show up as your best self at work and in your life. And I'm going to say the quiet parts out loud. So no fluff here, no listener traps, just actionable steps you can take today. I started this podcast because I truly care about the people that work for us and the leaders who lead them. And I'm here to share what I've learned from over 35 years of leadership coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. My examples and lessons are from on the job, from my life, and from growth myself. Things that I've gone through and learned from. Now listen closely. I want you to have a really crappy Monday. Not because I want you to be miserable, not because I enjoy seeing you struggle, but because hard days build something that easy days never will. So if your Monday is uncomfortable or it's frustrating and even to the point of exhausting, good. I want you to embrace it because that might be the exact environment your future self needs. Let's talk about why. This episode matters because we live in a culture that chases comfort all the time. Easy mornings, slow workflows, and stress-free lives. Not that any of us has that, but we're always pushing for that. And that's okay. But the truth that we don't like hearing is a comfortable life doesn't make you stronger, but a challenged life will. The strongest leaders I know, the calmest people, the most resilient humans, they weren't built on easy Mondays. They were built on crappy ones. So we're going to talk about how to use the hard days as fuel with actionable steps. And I want to start off with the story of how Michael Jordan, famous basketball player, got cut from his high school team. Yeah, because before he became the legend he became, Michael Jordan faced a crushing setback. As a sophomore in high school, he was cut from the varsity basketball team. He was devastated. He had worked so hard, practicing relentlessly, but he wasn't good enough. At least not in the eyes of his coach. So instead of quitting or letting the rejection define him, Jordan used it as fuel. He went home. Honestly, he shut himself in his room and he cried. But then he said, I'm going to make a decision and I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Jordan dedicated himself to becoming a better player, pushing himself harder in every practice and in every game. He spent hours perfecting his skills, driven by the belief that he had what it took to succeed. So that moment of failure didn't break him. It transformed him. And Jordan's relentless work ethic eventually paid off. And by his junior year, he was back on the team and soon became one of the top players in the nation. His story is a testament to how a tough day, a tough moment can be the spark for personal growth, resilience, and ultimately success. So here's the neurology of hard days. This is important. Remember, your brain is not wired to grow during comfort. It grows during challenges. And here's what's happening inside your brain. Number one, stress plus recovery equals stronger neural pathways. So when you face difficulty, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine. In healthy doses, these chemicals increase focus and learning. And then this is how the myelination works. Repeated challenge strengthens neural circuits. The brain then wraps these circuits in myelin, and then signals move faster, cleaner, and more efficiently through them. Hard days will literally rewire you to perform better next time. And then your brain learns safety through survival. So every time you get through something hard, your nervous system updates its database with, I survived that. This builds emotional regulation, confidence, and calm under pressure. Avoiding challenge does the opposite. It teaches the brain that discomfort is dangerous. So a tough Monday, aka a crappy Monday, can teach your brain how to handle stress so you don't fall apart under the pressure and you are capable, reminding you are capable and not fragile. And that's leadership internally first. Because before we lead others, we need to be the best leaders we can be internally. And so why do we resist hard days? Why do we let them completely throw us off track? Well, most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they interpret discomfort incorrectly. They think, oh man, something's wrong with me, or I shouldn't feel this stressed. This must mean I'm off track. But often, discomfort is proof you're on the right track. I want you to remember that. Growth rarely feels good when it's happening. It feels demanding, frustrating, stretching, and yes, sometimes miserable. So, how do we reframe a crappy Monday? Well, let's flip the script around. A crappy Monday might mean you're carrying extra responsibility. You're being even tested. You're learning new emotional skills. You're being forged, not punished. And the question isn't, why is this happening to me? Let's turn it around into, who is this changing me into? All right, so let's talk about actionable steps. How do we use hard days to your advantage? Number one, name the challenge. Don't avoid it. Say it out loud. Write it down. This is uncomfortable. This is stretching me. This is training me and not trauma. Labeling the stress reduces its emotional intensity and engages the rational brain. Number two, you need to shrink the time horizon. Hard days feel overwhelming when you think long term instead of, okay, this is what's going on now. What's the next right step I should take? Or what can I do in the next 10 minutes? Your nervous system calms when it sees manageable steps in front of it. Number three, practice calm under the load. So this is really huge. When stress hits us, slow your breathing down a little bit. Relax your jaw. Let the tension out of your body. Drop your shoulders. You're teaching your nervous system we can stay calm even when it's hard. And that skill alone will compound for life. Number four, I want you to extract the lesson before the day ends. So at the end of a tough day, ask, what did this reveal about me? Maybe journal that. What came out of me today? What did this reveal about me? What skill did I practice today? And what did I survive that I once had feared previously? Hard days without reflection are just exhausting. Hard days with reflection, they'll become wisdom. I remember years ago in my early management days, I had a customer get really aggressive with me and I let it ruin my whole day. Matter of fact, I think I let it ruin my whole week. And I look back on that like, wow, what a waste of time. Why did I fall victim to someone else's bad day? And why didn't I turn that into the fuel I needed to learn the lesson and maybe see the signs that would have prevented that from happening in the beginning? Then step five, respect yourself by showing up. Don't minimize it. Don't brush it off. You didn't quit. You didn't avoid it. You showed up, and that's what matters. Showing up is everything. Respect yourself by not quitting. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history, had a share of setbacks, more than a share, because early in his career, he experienced a particularly difficult day that could have easily discouraged him. So as a young inventor, Edison was working on creating a new type of battery that would revolutionize the industry. But after months of hard work, he was ready to present his invention to potential investors. But when that moment came, the battery failed miserably. It didn't work at all. And he was devastated. Edison had invested his time and energy and personal money into this project. His failure was public, and his reputation as an inventor was on the line. But instead of giving up, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that this didn't work." So he viewed each failure as a lesson, a stepping stone toward eventual success, and he continued to innovate, tweak his designs, and push forward with renewed determination. Years later, his persistence led to the creation of the very practical electric light bulb, which we all use to this day, changed the world. That one tough day didn't define Edison's career. It just strengthened his resolve to keep going, no matter how many failures he encountered along the way. And that story illustrates how facing failure head on, facing toughness, facing when things go wrong, and choosing not to quit will ultimately lead to groundbreaking success for you. So you don't need fewer hard days. You just need more trust in yourself during them. So a really crappy Monday doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're becoming someone stronger, steadier, and more capable. As recent as just a couple months ago, I had an interesting customer interaction with a person who wanted to understand her insurance benefits. And it was a very particular need that this customer had about what they wanted. And it probably took 45 minutes of my day. We were really busy with other people. I had to make several phone calls to the insurance people, so on and so on. And I can tell that my associate that I'm working with was getting frustrated for me. But I remained patient, calm, and cool, and just smiled back and answered her questions. After the customer left, she said, "Why did you do so much to help her?" And they weren't even very grateful about it. And I responded with, I don't see it that way at all. And all that particular customer did was challenge me to be better and train me for the future so I can be even more excellent at what I do. I love challenges more than the easiest situations because that's where I'm growing. That's where I'm training to be even better and stronger, find new ways to win the day. So this is your call to action for this episode. This week when the day feels heavy, I don't want you to fight it. I want you to say, good, this is training. I want you to lean in, stay present, stay regulated, and let the day do its work on you. Because the version of you who handles pressure with calm and confidence, that version was built on hard days. One crappy Monday at a time. Me and my wife always talk about when we became our most mental resilient, when we became more proficient at our work, and when we ultimately became happier was when we went through life's hardest struggles. And so no, I really don't want you to have a crappy Monday today. But if you do, I want you to go through the actionable steps like we talked about and see the patterns and learn how to prevent them from happening forward. Embrace the challenge, learn and get better. What challenges you trains you. So thanks for spending part of your day with me. If this episode helped you reframe a tough moment, share it with someone who's in the middle of one right now. Remember, let's lead our lives better together. All right, so that is my episode. I hope this impacted you for the better. And if it did, please leave me a rating or review and hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. And until next time, I want you to lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you were meant to be. But most importantly, go out and be the hero of somebody's story today. I'm Andy Zook, and this is the Leading Life Podcast. Lead on, be strong, be awesome you. Bye. Okay, you're still here. All right. So I thought I would just add a couple more thoughts. I have nothing prepared, so this is just in the forefront of my mind. Some days may be crappy one after the other. You might even have a whole crappy month. You might even have a whole crappy year. It happens to everyone. But I just want you to know that you're going to get through it. If you keep learning, you keep growing, you keep embracing the challenges, and you keep a positive attitude as best you can during life's toughest moments, you're going to come out on the other side so strong, you'll be unrecognizable. So please don't give up. Don't stop what you're doing. Keep going and just let the hard days make you stronger. All right? Take care. I appreciate you. Bye.